Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lahore School of Economics Alumni Talks 2021 series. Today is the 27th episode of 2021 series. We have Mr. Ammaar Bin Saleem with us. He's done his EMBA in 2017 from Lahore School of Economics. He is currently Senior Officer Marketing and Communication at LUMS, and also the co-founder for Smart Journey Content Factory. Quite an interesting name. We'll get to know more about his journey and his story in our conversation. Mr. Ammaar, welcome to Alumni Talks.
Thank you so much, Fatma. Thank you for having me. I mean, I'm really excited to be at Lahore School once again.
My honor, and I'm just going to repeat myself. The reason of doing all these alumni talks is to celebrate the stories and the journeys of our alumnus. Why? Because they're doing it so good for themselves, for the organization, and for the country. We want to celebrate it. So the first question I always ask, Hanji, kya kissa hai, kya kahani hai? What's your story like before and after Lahore School of Economics?
It's a quite broad topic, honestly. मैं याद करने बैठूं तो, I mean, how did it really happen? How did I land myself at Lahore School of Economics? It all seems like a dream to me now. But I did my O-levels at Hamdard Public School. Then I went to Resource Academia. I did my A-levels from there. After that, I joined FC College University. I did my honors in communications and education. So I basically double majored. And I graduated in 7 semesters. So uske baad I joined TNS Beacon House. जब मैंने वो join किया, तो I still remember कि my mother was over in Lahore. So my mother basically, she is the director of communications at University of Engineering Technology, Peshawar. So she was here on a conference. So उन्होंने मुझे बुलाया, उन्होंने मुझसे discussion की कि भाई आगे तुमने करना क्या है. So I told her कि मैं सही हूँ, मैंने अपना bachelor's कर लिया, I'm happy.
बहुत पढ़ाई हो गई है जी.
काफी पढ़ाई हो गई, पढ़ाई तो काफी देर से हो रही थी. So and I was earning good. तो मैंने कहा बस सही है, अब सही चल रहा है सब कुछ. So she's मतलब उनका काफी ज़्यादा broad idea था as to how the market really moves. So she suggested me, and she actually urged me to pursue my MBA. Now she didn't know about Lahore School of Economics, so I mean अभी मैं उसको check कर रहा था कि क्या करूँ ना करूँ. LSE के ऑप्शन सामने आई, और मुझे याद है कि LSE उस वक्त ही HEC में नंबर 1 या नंबर 2 हो गया था पाकिस्तान पे.
जी, बिजनेस स्कूल में नंबर 1 पे था, टॉप रैंकिंग पे था.
नंबर 1 एग्जैक्टली, बिल्कुल. तो I was happy, and मैंने कहा चले let's try our luck. So I applied at LSE, and उसके बाद I was waiting for, तो ये period start हो गया. So I was living with my grandmother. My father was in the United Kingdom at that time. So मैं और मेरी दादो थी, and suddenly मेरी दादो बीमार हो गई. So right before जो एक test होता है, जो entrance test होता है, उससे बिल्कुल 3 से 4 दिन पहले. So she was hospitalized. I was there with her, और मुझे याद है कि मैंने अपने एक दोस्त को बुलाया क्योंकि LSE की टेस्ट की डेट भी आ गई. वो आया मेरी जगह पे, वो रहा for a few hours जितने में टेस्ट होना था. It was a 3-hour long test, और मैं वो देने के लिए LSE गया, और उसके बाद I got accepted. So I really didn't know. I didn't have much time to prepare for the exam, but alhamdulillah वो पास हो गया और LSE से ऑफर आ गई, and then I joined LSE. अच्छा, अब वो असल मजे की बात ये है कि the program that I joined was professional Master of Business Administration.
जी, EMBA, Executive MBA, Professional MBA.
Executive MBA. So I had not realized कि how tough of a job it is going to be now. क्योंकि 5 दिन हम काम कर रहे हैं, and the rest of the 2 days which we were actually supposed to use for our rest and all, हम पढ़ रहे थे बैठ के LSE में. तो वो 2.5 साल फिर इस तरह गुजरे. और LSE के बाद ये हुआ कि I kept on working at TNS. I was engaged in a few other projects privately, and then I was offered positions at Barco in Karachi. I was offered a position in at Honda in Lahore. But I wasn't able to take those offers up, so I waited, और फिर उसके बाद I joined LUMS. So LUMS में I've been working for the past 2 years almost, और उसके साथ मैंने अपना ये जो private business था ये start किया with my father. So
it has a very interesting name. Let's hear about this. What's the whole idea behind this, and content factory. Let's hear the idea about it. क्या है?
So it was like मजे की बात ये थी कि we content writing मैं बहुत देर से कर रहा था. Content writing मैं तब से करता when I was like a sophomore at FCC. And you wouldn't believe charge 120 rupees for a 500 words article. So
अच्छा,
this is how
wow.
it started. 120 rupees और उससे मैं लिखता होता था article and they would pay me after a week. And I would be very happy that I was earning alongside my studies. But that wasn't enough, of course. So इस तरह से ये start हो गया काम. फिर कुछ अरसे के बाद हुआ ये कि when I was very, very busy with my work, I got another project. And that was a project from an Australian client that we got at that time. So वो हमारे साथ add हो गए. There were a few other clients from Dubai. There was one from the United Kingdom. जब ये सारा होना शुरू हो गया, तो I spoke with my dad and we decided that we are going to take up these jobs. So in the beginning, you wouldn't believe it was just me and my dad. We were, writing the whole website content for all these clients. अब जब वो काम हमसे वो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बढ़ना शुरू हुआ, there were more clients coming in. So my father and I, we started up this.
Wow. So how many people are there, you being a young entrepreneur, how many people are there in your, this particular new venture of yours? How many, you are the boss for those people? Because I think being an entrepreneur, it's the best thing to do also, because you're also helping the economy. And this is the way forward. Absolutely.
Oh, I remember the first time that we received our first payment from China. तो हमें पता ही नहीं था कि payment हमने जो है वो China से कैसे लेके आनी है payment. तो वो that was quite interesting, I remember. But yes, we have
WeChat
like
से नहीं कोई payment. Normally the whole China works in the WeChat. मुझे WeChat की payments नहीं होती.
नहीं, असल में हमने वो जो एक client ढूंढा था वो that was from freelancer. तो वो उनको खुद भी exactly नहीं पता था कि it was the first time that they were dealing with somebody in Pakistan. So that was quite tricky, और वो को पता है वो trust issues वगैरह and everything, but alhamdulillah we were able to overcome that. But फिर वो हुआ, and we have like around between 10 and 15. So they kind of vary क्योंकि ये एक freelancing किस्म की job हो जाती है. So there are people who go, there are people who come, and it keeps on happening like this. So but it's good, alhamdulillah, it's been promising. It has been showing signs of growth. So yes, it's happened like this.
Zabardast. Acha, Ammaar, let's go back to Lahore School of Economics days. And of course, you've done your executive MBA, professional MBA. What are the fondest memories? पढ़ाई और काम के अलावा मतलब कुछ जरा रोशनी डालें ना उन यादों पे.
अच्छा फातिमा, fondest memory से अगर बात करें ना LSE में, तो again, as I've mentioned, I was there for my professional program. तो हम तो कैंपस पे होते ही बहुत कम थे. So it was like कि हम weekends पे होते थे, Saturdays and Sundays. तो but सबसे मजे की बात ये थी कि I was able to have all those memories with my friends. और मैंने नहीं, I didn't even know one person who was joining the professional MBA program with me. तो मुझे जो भी वहाँ पे दोस्त मिले वो वहीं पे मिले. And मुझे वो मैं यकीन भी नहीं कर सकता कि how could it be possible कि जो मेरा ग्रुप था वो इतना लाइक माइंडेड था, माशाल्लाह इतना कॉम्पिटेंट था. They were well placed, they were good students as well, and they're good people too. और हम अभी तक in connection है. मुझे लगता है कि मेरे काफी सारे दोस्तों में LSE के जो दोस्त मेरे बने वो वाले दोस्त हैं. You could say that they are fast friends. तो हमें मुझे याद है मेरा दोस्त आता था अक्सर, हम पिक किया, चले गए LSE चले गए. I would wake up in the morning at 6. Our first class at LSE on a Sunday would be at 8. So आते हुए बातें करना, LSE में जाके क्लासेस में बैठ के, उस टाइम पे नया ऑडिटोरियम भी बन रहा था, तो हमारी नई क्लासेस में हमारी क्लासेस होना स्टार्ट हो गई है. उनसे गपशप करना, फिर वहां से नाश्ते पे चले जाना. बंक करने की तो खैर जरूरत ही नहीं थी किसी की, हमें पता था LSE में फिर क्या होता है. तो वो करना, and then we would meet, and we still meet regularly, and I'd like to name a few friends as well.
Why not? Of course.
उन्होंने मेरा साथ दिया, and I owe a lot of it to them as well. Salman, Aisha, Mujtaba, Usman Khalid, Usman Basit, and Maham, Charo. In सबके साथ मेरी memories, they're beautiful memories that I have with them.
Oh, how nice. Acha, Ammaar, what are you really passionate about in life? Passion क्या है जिंदगी में या इस वक्त?
Oh, it's a very difficult question, Fatima. मतलब yes.
I know, it's a very difficult question. अगर मुश्किल है तो आगे चलते हैं, no problem.
But I'd still like to think about it. मतलब मेरा ख्याल है कि जो भी चीज I've been doing, I've been very, very passionate about it. Alhamdulillah. जिस चीज में भी मैं गया हूँ, whether it was teaching, I taught at TNS Speakers for 4 years. I was really, really focused about it. I was passionate about students. I was really concerned about students learning, their overall well-being, and that is it. वो वहाँ पे अब now that I have joined LUMS, alhamdulillah, my passion, another thing that I have taken up is कि मेरा passion towards marketing and towards counseling students and towards making sure that we meet the target. तो ये सब चीजें जो हैं चल रही हैं साथ साथ.
Zabardast. Acha, what is there in your life currently which really makes you feel fulfilled and contented?
Fatma, alhamdulillah, when I see myself where I used to be 6 years back, and now where I've come, what I've been able to achieve, alhamdulillah, economically, socially, family-wise, personally, mentally, alhamdulillah, I'd say all of these things, they factor in when we talk about how fulfilled I feel now. So Allah ko bahut fazl hai कि Allah Taala ने हर area को मेरी life में जो है वो साथ रखा है.
Excellent. अच्छा अम्मार, ये तो आपने बड़ी अच्छी बातें बताई ना कि जी काम इस तरह हो गया, वो challenges होते हैं. There are some challenges you must have faced at work. How did you overcome them, and what's your coping mechanism in the midst of challenges?
Fatma, it actually depends कि मतलब आप क्या काम कर रहे हैं, and then talk about challenges. There were challenges at my first job. There were challenges at private things that I was doing. There were challenges in my business, and there have been challenges at LUMS as well.
So let's hear them out. What sort of challenges? How did you deal with them? Because let's talk about the problems, and then how did you were able to find those solutions to it.
अगर सबसे पहले बात करूं तो honestly मुझे याद आता है कि जब मैं TKNS में था, when I was teaching, तो सारी बातें challenges तो वहाँ पे आना start हो जाते हैं आपको. And there was this कि आपका student के साथ connection किस तरह है. And at first, I had no teaching experience, though I did have a degree in education, but that didn't mean that I had active teaching experience. तो वो वहाँ पे उसको overcome करने का तरीका ये था communication, talking to the student. You wouldn't believe that I was like 23, 24 years old when I joined TNS, and I was communicating with a 6-year-old. So that sort of communication kind of actually made me realize that I could be a good communicator as well. So मैं अपने dad से बात करता, my dad used to teach at a point in time. तो वो मुझे बताया था कि भाई it was so difficult to teach students this age. So that was one. फिर अब जो मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा challenge आता है आजकल in my business is कि it's very difficult at times to retain people. And you would see that even if everything is going well, even if there is no reason for somebody to leave the job, people would still go. People would still go and they wouldn't think about it. They would simply just tell you one day and they're gone the very next. So usko overcome karne ka tarika phir yahi hai, of course, that you have you employ more people, because if there is a client, there are that client's needs, and you need to make sure that his or her needs are being fulfilled with regards to the content that they're asking us to produce. So they're not gonna understand कि भाई मेरे पास एक writer थे and he's found a better opportunity and he's gone. अब जो चीज मैं आजकल देख रहा हूँ वो LUMS की अगर मैं बात करूँ या एजुकेशनल मार्केटिंग की बात करूँ, तो वो ये है कि what I have been able to understand, this is my personal opinion by the way, people, youngsters by the way, they are questioning, and this is good. They're questioning the
system. They're questioning everything. They believe and they think they're entitled, and why not? About certain things.
Exactly.
They're able to find the answers.
बिल्कुल exactly. अगर आप questions पूछेंगे तो आपको answers मिलेंगे ना. So now they question what is the validity of an academic program in times where we are continuously being asked to be more skillful. कोई बंदा है, he is more skilled at Python development, कोई बंदा है, he or she is more skilled at something else, website development or social media marketing. Then in times like these, where do the academic programs or those skills stand? So this is something that I'm learning more about. I wouldn't say that I have come to a conclusion as yet, but the gap between industry and the gap between academia needs to be bridged, and it needs to be concretely bridged continuously. So this could be one of the
Amar,
solutions.
I totally agree with you. And then, in the times to come, you rightly said that. I'm just going to endorse this, that, we also need to, it's not only the academic degrees, we also need to have vocational trainings. You look at the German model, because, everybody is not going for their MPhil and PhDs. Only those who want to be part of the academia are going for it. Otherwise, you need to have additional skill in order, or in times to come, to survive, because artificial intelligence is there and whatnot. So we are, somehow living in a very interesting time. We have a complete shift from a very different old traditions and tangent to the new dynamics of the world, and it's evolving every time. Every day the world is evolving. So
I mean,
it's difficult for the young generation to catch up also.
Who would have thought that one day we'd be marketing educational programs using social media, which you don't even, which we or our elders
We
do.
never
I mean,
thought it was, इसको serious ही नहीं लिया कभी. ये तो बच्चों के खेलने की जगह है. So
exactly. Or matlab, a pandemic may we have seen, and I have seen so many talks, I've seen so many people running their businesses online. And this is how effective it has been. I mean, I'm not saying that we should completely move towards virtual, but still there has to be a stronger connection between virtual and our everyday business.
Right. So, Amar, you just talked about pandemic, and of course the world is going through very difficult times, and but how it has affected you, and how it has affected the industry you are in, and how do you see the world after one, hopefully when it will be over soon, inshallah. So क्या dynamics होंगे और किस तरह आप जिसको देखा है अपने तक?
दोनों चीजें देखी हैं. आई हैव सीन के पेंडेमिक के पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट्स भी थे, आई हैव सीन के इसके नेगेटिव इफेक्ट्स भी रहे हैं. पॉजिटिव क्या रहे हैं, अगर मैं सोचूं कि अपनी अगर बात करूं तो आई हैव हैड मोर टाइम टू कनेक्ट विद माय फैमिली, with my father, with my wife, with my mother, with my friends, to engage in meaningful conversations. Previously, मुझे याद है, उससे पहले it was all mechanized. It was like crazy. We were waking up at 5:40 in the morning, and we would come back at 8 p.m. and then you wouldn't have it in you to stay up and engage in good conversations. And I remember it was very difficult for me to feel that I am not able to give enough time to my father when I was coming home at 8 p.m. in the evening, or फिर उसके बाद sleeping at 10 p.m. and then waking up again at 5:40.
Exactly. So we're living a machine life at that time. I think now we're able to reflect more. What is more important?
बिल्कुल तो वो एक positively एक ये benefit हुआ. दूसरी चीज ये कि it has kind of enforced us to think about technologies now, and this is a point that we should have come to much earlier, लेकिन we haven't been able to. But now everything, मतलब मुझे एक छोटे से स्कूल से जो कि जिसकी रीच इतनी ज्यादा नहीं, जिसमें ज्यादा स्टूडेंट्स थे, तो बड़ी से बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी तक, एक छोटे से बिजनेस से लेके अक्सर बहुत बड़े बिजनेस तक मैं देख रहा हूँ कि लोग टेक्नोलॉजी पे आ चुके हैं. I mean, you wouldn't believe, a few days back I went to Grotto जलेबी वाले. अब मतलब जब आप एक जलेबी की दुकान पे जाते हो, you don't expect कि आपकी पेमेंट वहाँ पे ऑनलाइन हो जाएगी, but there was jazz cash over there. So I was actually amazed कि यार मतलब किस हद तक टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट किया जा रहा है अपने एवरीडे लाइफ में. लेकिन नेगेटिव जो मैंने इसका देखा है कि people are more distressed now. People have been, I mean, they have been,
बहुत लंबा हो गया ना, the third wave and everything, of course.
बिल्कुल stress हो गया, and they are easily provoked now. Everybody is willing to fight now. I mean, they're willing to protest, and there is this continuous.
Once we are not on the on the बिल्कुल the negative side of the patients, हम पहले भी तो थोड़े ऐसे ही थे, क्या नहीं थे? Patients हम तो ऐसे lose करते, अब हम ज्यादा हो गए.
अब शायद हम ज्यादा इंस्टिगेट हो गए इस तरह.
अच्छा चलो सही है, of course, हाँ, right.
तो मुझे ये लगता है कि नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट ये है. और दूसरा, अच्छा अगर मैं वैसे बात करूं कि भाई मेरी जॉब पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ा है, तो एक होता है जैसे एक अगर if you are engaging yourself in a one person to a group communication, जैसे कि मैं अक्सर करता हूं, whenever I go for an outreach session, I am talking to 500 or maybe thousands of students sitting over there, but that connect is not available online. But when they can't really see you in person, standing over there, taking on their questions head on, तो वो जो चीज आप create कर सकते हैं in the mind of the consumer, in the mind of the person who you're marketing your program to or who you're talking to, वो online में उतना ज़्यादा available नहीं है. and I
Right.
really doubt कि कभी भी हो सकेगा.
True. No, yeah, you rightly said that because, in personal level, the energy is very different. And of course, online, it's absolutely different. So, but how do you see, how do you see the world after this? Will we ever go back to where we started from, or कोई mix होगा economy का, लोगों का, digitalization and technology?
I think we eventually have to go back to how it used to be, or at least we'll have more of it, uh, as compared to staying virtual. For example, it could be like 70% of how it used to be and 30% virtual. Because, I mean, being virtual all the time is not the natural way of living. I mean, this is
Yeah,
what I. So, I
absolutely.
mean, exactly. So you have to go out, you have to meet people, and I mean, we are social animals, aren't we? So, so मुझे लगता है कि it's going to be a mix where majority is going to be how it used to be, and but still, I mean, more than before, virtual का part भी होगा.
True. Acha, um, what keeps you going? You sound like very energetic, enthusiastic. What keeps you going? Where do you derive your energy from?
there's Fatima, this is a very tricky
Wait,
question that you've asked me,
I
honestly.
should tell you.
But let me
Some.
answer. So I believe
What inspires you? You know what inspires you? Because inspiration also, that keeps you going and you're
yes,
motivated to do things, of course. And now
exactly.
in this whole pandemic and in the COVID times, you've seen that motivation and need for achievement and moving forward is what matters the most. So उसको क्या
It
है?
is,
इसकी
and
क्या
we have seen
dynamics
it.
है?
We have seen it. मुझे लगता है personally कि there are 2 to 3 main factors over here in play. Number one, there are responsibilities that kind of push you to keep on going. I mean, you cannot stay, or you cannot be static. दूसरी चीज ये है कि there is continuous drive in me, and there is a reason for that, and it's kind of a personal reason, but that actually pushes me. It is like a fire in the belly, जैसे फरीदी साहब कहते होते थे. कि वो होनी चाहिए if you want to achieve something, and I really feel what he used to say. तो वो मुझे अब फील होता है कि वो मेरे अंदर है, and I mean that kind of pushes me to do better every day. और सबसे बढ़ के आई बिलीव के आई थिंक ये अल्लाह ताला का फजल और दुआएं हैं सबकी मेरे साथ.
Absolutely. Acha, Amar, nowadays everybody is talking about the work-life balance and, your employees should be in a better mental health also. So,
Yeah.
how do you maintain work-life balance and what are your comments about this mental well-being of the employees of your colleagues?
If I have to talk about it generally, Fatma, and I'm not talking about specifically, so we come on. I mean, this probably is the topic that everyone should be talking about. कि यार आप सारा time काम कर रहे हो, you're sitting in front of a computer and you don't have any time for yourself. Even if you're working at an office and you're surrounded by people, still you need time for yourself. You need
time
time
to unwind things now. I mean, how much of the retention you can have, of course. We don't get that. So work-life balance is something which we really need to work on and work and talk about it and have actually coaching sessions to maintain one.
Exactly.
But that's my personal view.
कि मैंने एक बड़ी मजे की वीडियो देखी. देर मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर्स आपको पता है बहुत ज्यादा अब इस वक्त कहते हैं, and when you watch a 5-minute Instagram motivational video or a 5-minute Facebook motivational video, you say like this, oh, okay, I'm gonna do everything that I was doubting myself on. But उसमें एक बड़ी मजे की मैंने एक चीज नोटिस की, and I totally disagree with. There was a person and he was saying that you cannot sleep 8 hours a day because business is happening in the east, and if you are in the west, so you're missing out on a lot of capital and all that. And I disagree with it like anything. I mean, it is scientifically proven that you need to have at least 7.5 hours to 8 hours of sleep every day if you need to function in an energetic manner. But if you're not getting that, man, come on, even if you work 24 hours a day, you won't be able to achieve what you could achieve if you were sleeping properly, if you were doing all your things in a proper fashion. So I think work-life balance is a thing that we all should be talking about. We all should be taking it very seriously. Pandemic has given us this opportunity to think about us, not only think about us, but take time off work as well. So
True. And
I
reflect. Exactly. And now I think I'm so glad that now the conversation has started even at the organizations that the mental well-being is extremely important for greater productivity, and also the, to create more synergy within the whole organization also. So I'm
Yes.
glad the conversation has started. So it's important because mental health is something which you really cannot ignore. And when you ignore and suppress it in the long run, it really bothers.
It
So,
does. I know.
right. And so, Amar, we all have certain stories which are attached to us and they impact us. So it can be a personal story or impacted you, stayed with you, and you don't get to talk much often about it. So let's hear that particular story, whatever you're comfortable sharing with us. A story of yours which impacted you.
Uh, so there are many, I believe, and top of my head, I believe there's one. Jahan pe, when I started working, and it was not only was I working over there, I've told you that I was working privately as well. So I remember I would go to that job in the morning. I would be there at 7:45, I believe. So I would wake up around 6 or 5:30. Then would be there till like 4, around 4, and then would travel 35 kilometers on a motorbike to the other end of the city. And then I would work there, and then would travel a further 18 kilometers, I believe, to get back home. And I would come back home around 7 or 8 in the evening. And I just didn't want anybody to speak with me. So this is that aspect that not many people know about me. And this is, I believe LSE and this particular experience that I had for a considerable amount of time, it actually developed capacity in me, capacity to work for longer hours, capacity to be able to focus and to analyze and evaluate things.
All right. To analyze. Actually, when we analyze, do you go into the analysis paralysis situation also? I'm just asking generally because it's in humans. I mean, हमारे अंदर है ये tendency कि हम बहुत सोचने में आते हैं और फिर overthinking करते हैं और फिर.
Well, yes, probably the biggest overthinker in my family.
Really? Okay. Say,
so, yes, it does happen.
Right. Amar, what is one piece of advice that was given to you and was given to you by whom and stayed with you? You actually followed it. Of course, you can share a few pieces of advices also, but sometimes हम कभी अमार को ऐसी बात सुनते हैं जो हमारे दिल को लगती है और हम कहते हैं ये तो मैंने करना है और आप उस पे literally linear focus हो जाते हैं. So what were those words and who said that?
I can think of two such instances. एक तो ये कि जो मेरी दादी थी, उन्होंने मुझे सजेस्ट करती होती थी कि बेटा तुमने ये नहीं देखना कि क्या तुम्हें मिल रहा है, जो भी है, as long it's halal, सही है, you go for it, छोटी बड़ी छोड़ दो जॉब, तुम्हें जो मिल रहा है, you do it. And when I joined TNS, they asked me, okay, what do you want to teach? And I said, O-levels business studies. They said, we have a position to teach year 1. And I said, I take it. So, एक वो चीज, and I'd strongly suggest आजकल के youth को भी, and I personally know many people who are not working and they're probably looking for the best job, but what they really need to understand is that it's going to come with time. So you can get lucky and things can be better with you, but still. Fatma, can you hear me? Because I see the screen's paused. Okay, that's okay. So
yes, I
you're
can.
Back.
There was a lag, but now I think it's fine. It's fine. Gigi.
Okay, so sorry, there was a glitch.
So technology hota hai ji, of course. Mazrat, like Gigi, of course.
So I was saying कि मैं जो youngsters को भी suggest करूँगा वो यही कि यार आपने देखना नहीं बिल्कुल भी, just start working. Okay, inshallah things will get better for you. दूसरी चीज जो मुझे याद है वो मेरे वालिद का उनकी एक बात याद है. तो मुझे याद है O-levels में हम पढ़ रहे थे. I guess I was preparing for my O-levels economics exam, and that was the first time that I was to sit a Cambridge exam. So it was a big deal. तो मुझे याद है कि मैं पढ़ नहीं रहा था या कोई मसला था, तो जिसके बाद मेरे वालिद ने मुझे कहा कि मुझे तुमसे कुछ नहीं चाहिए, तुमने ही अपने लिए करना है. तो वो चीज ऐसे कहते हैं ना चीर कर गई, तो या वो तीर कर गई वो चीज मुझे, और मुझे वो याद रहेगी उनकी बात आज तक। इट्स बिन लाइक मोर देन डेकेड नाउ, लेकिन मुझे आज तक वो बात याद है। और जब भी मैं कोई चीज कर रहा होता तो मुझे अपने वालिद याद आ जाते हैं, उनकी ये बात याद आ जाती है।
Oh wow, how profound. Achha, where do you see Pakistan in long run, 2030 and beyond? The economy of Pakistan, the education sector which you are in. Where do you see this country?
Inshallah in a better place. उसकी better place in the sense, देखिए फातिमा, इसको दो तरीके से देखा जा सकता है. There are two sides of the coin now. एक चीज तो ये कि yes, I see positively, and one reason for that is, and ये बात मुझे LSE में भी याद है, मुझे अपने प्रोफेसर्स की बात भी याद है, and हमने जितनी रिसर्च खुद भी आज तक की है कि पाकिस्तान, हम लोग कुछ बहुत ज्यादा प्रोडक्ट्स तो बनाते नहीं हैं, and that is a reality. That is why dollar is 163 now. It has dropped to 153. But that's not success. तो what I have seen is कि अब पाकिस्तान ने $1 billion IT exports का जो एक था benchmark, वो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अचीव कर लिया, and now we have we're going beyond that now. तो मुझे अब ये आइडिया हो रहा है कि जो भी हमारी यूथ engaged है, whatever skills they are learning, even if you talk about content, you talk about website development, you talk about social media marketing, you talk about digital technologies, you talk about surveillance, whatever you talk about, hamare log, they're competent, alhamdulillah, they're working for companies outside, and they will inshallah be playing their part to raise Pakistan's strong economic future, alhamdulillah, inshallah. That is one. Education की जहाँ तक बात करें, alhamdulillah, Pakistan में we are focusing on digitizing our courses, we are focusing on skill development. गवर्नमेंट के भी इस वक्त काफी सारे वोकेशनल प्रोग्राम्स जो हैं चल रहे हैं फ्री ऑफ चार्ज. प्राइवेट काफी सारे लोग हैं who are earning a great amount of money just because they are teaching online, just because they have centers online. तो वो भी मुझे बेहतर नजर आ रहा है. What I'm really worried about, Fatma, is कि how are we moving ahead ethically and morally? What is our future going to be in that domain? मैं जैसे आपको बता रहा हूँ कि लोग are slightly provoked. हमारे और उसकी एक बहुत बड़ी रीजन ये what the content that we are consuming now, what we have available on Facebook, what we have available on Instagram, on all these applications. I mean, and I'm not against freedom of expression or freedom of speech or whatever you want to see. You can see, it is good, okay, but still, what is it that is being produced for your eyes? And that's not good, honestly. I mean, थोड़ी मतलब थोड़े छोटे फेम के लिए ऐसे ऐसे कंटेंट बन रहा है जो कि इतना कोई खास नहीं है. दैट काइंड ऑफ पोल्यूट्स योर माइंड, ठीक है ना. इट डजंट लेट यू फोकस. अभी अगर मैं याद करूं कि मेरे वालिद या वालदा के टाइम के जो ड्रामा होते थे और जो मैं भी देखता था, फॉर एग्जांपल धूप किनारे वगैरह, दैट वाज अ डिफरेंट कंटेंट दैट वाज बीइंग प्रोड्यूस्ड एट दैट टाइम, एंड आज वो नहीं है. तो आई एम वरीड अबाउट दैट पाकिस्तान के बारे में.
Of course, you rightly said that, but I think we have identified this issue. So, what are the solutions and what are the steps? ABCs क्या है? Content creation करेगा कौन? कोई बाहर से कोई UFA force तो नहीं आके करेगी, करना है तो हमने खुद ही करनी है ना. So, उसके लिए do you think पहले तो denial से बाहर निकल आते हैं, फिर आप solutions की तरफ जाते हैं. So, we have to identify the problem. तो solution की तरफ कैसे जाएंगे? Of course, you're talking about content.
Encourage people who can come up with good content. I mean, first of all, we'll have to give its proper due. I mean, we have to understand that social media is a huge power. और जो लोग इसमें अच्छा content बना सकते हैं, we need to encourage them rather than discouraging them. कि भाई your face will be put right in front of 1,000 or a few lakh people. So we need confidence over there. Then we need focus as well. कि भाई हमने एग्जैक्टली बनाना क्या है. अभी मुझे याद है कि हम एक दफा फरीदी साहब की क्लास में बैठे हुए थे, एंड फरीदी साहब पॉलिसी पढ़ाते थे हमें, बिजनेस पॉलिसी, एंड दैट वाज द लास्ट कोर्स दैट वी डिड इन आवर प्रोफेशनल एमबीए.
एग्जैक्टली.
उस वक्त मुझे फरीद साहब ने एक एग्जांपल दी, एंड दैट वाज कि इंडिया ने क्या डिजाइन किया था इन 1970s, जिसकी वजह से आज वो हम कहाँ हैं और इंडिया कहाँ पे है. और उनका वो डिजाइन ये था कि दे स्ट्रेटेजाइज्ड बाय developing a stronger focus on the IT sector, which we didn't do, and we have not been doing it. ये जो अभी भी 1 billion वाला ये जो हमने mark cross किया है, there are so many freelancers working off of home. So
right. So what we're saying is that at a national level, until unless we will not have a national policy of creating the right content for this country, and then only is what we are thinking will be able to achieve have the
देखिए
right content.
इस वक्त अभी गवर्नमेंट एक पॉलिसी फॉर एग्जांपल जिस पे फोकस कर रही है, पंजाब में शायद पहले हो जाएगा ये वाला काम, जिसमें दे आर थिंकिंग, जैसे कि गवर्नमेंट जो है वो न्यूज़पेपर्स को एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स वगैरह देती है, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द रीजनल न्यूज़पेपर्स दे बेसिकली डिपेंड ऑन द advertisements that they get from the government, because not private people are advertising about their product in the newspapers.
True.
So why can't government influence the content as well, the content that is being produced now? अब वो सोशल मीडिया की मार्केटिंग की एक पॉलिसी लेके आ रहे हैं जिसमें गवर्नमेंट बताएगा कि जी हमने 10% या 15% हमारा जो एनुअल मार्केटिंग बजट है वो सोशल मीडिया चैनल्स को देना है. So maybe they could make up a list of a few major influencers, of a few major influencing channels as well, and then also talk about okay, this is the content that needs to be produced. So start taking a few steps towards them, towards that goal.
You're right, baby steps and then realization that we need to do it, because of course, I think with the power of words and the right content, we can create wonders when it comes to this country. Why not? Because
Why not?
We have such a whole, big, huge population of young minds. We can actually influence them in the right direction.
And that's happening as to some extent.
But it's time to scale up. In order to see the results, we have to scale up things. Absolutely.
Bilkul. At a massive level.
Absolutely. Acha, complete the sentences. आपको so far purpose of life कुछ समझ आया, जिंदगी का मकसद so far?
बहुत difficult है, but थोड़ा सा जितना थोड़ा सा समझ आ सके वो यही है कि I want to be a human being who is good enough कि he is liked by Allah Ta'ala. तो बस इतना समझ आ सके अभी तक, बाकी नहीं समझ आया.
All right, okay. Achha, and what is for you, Ammaar? What is purpose of forgiveness?
Purpose of forgiveness. Why would I forgive somebody if I can penalize him or her? I'd probably forgive that person just because I could be forgiven when I make a mistake. That probably is the main purpose of forgiveness for me.
What do you think? What is the biggest obstacle to peace in this world? Biggest obstacle to peace?
Peace in this world, yeah. When you talk about peace in this world, तो फिर तो मुझे भी नहीं पता कि what is the biggest obstacle, honestly. But when you talk about peace within yourself, कि उसका क्या reason है कि what's the biggest obstacle to for that? I think it's our inability to sit quietly in a room and not talk to the other person. I mean, just think about yourself, be calm, dig deep over there, and see who you really are. Then you'll be able to be at peace with yourself. And if you'll be at peace with yourself, you'll be a better person for the people around you. And I mean, that's a ripple effect that goes on.
Of course, true. Achha, what is the most difficult choice or decision you have taken so far in your professional career?
Okay, so straight off my mind, switching from TNS Canals to LUMS was probably the most significant decision that I had to make. I was teaching there, as I've told you, I was teaching there for 4 years and a few more months, and I was good at it. Honestly, I was really, really good at it. I was appreciated by everybody, but that had it had become my comfort zone as well. And what I had always heard was that whenever you see something very, very comfortable and you want to stick to it, just move on. If you want to see that you grow, you'll have to move on. And then I saw LUMS. It was a remarkable opportunity. I was at first, I wasn't really sure as if I wanted to do it, because it was marketing. It was entirely different. But alhamdulillah, it has proven to be a remarkable decision as well. I've been able to learn so much. I've been able to achieve so much.
You rightly said that one has to move out of the comfort zone in order to grow ahead in life, of course. Zaruri hai. Achha, do you believe in miracles?
Okay, yeah, I do believe in miracles, but don't ask me if I've seen any, but because that might be insignificant for some. But yeah, I do believe in miracles, and the reason for that is that your hard work and your smart work and your own intelligence can only take you so far. And beyond that is something else. It's God's help. It's the prayers of your people. It's your prayers. It's something else. And you could say there are miracles
You know,
over there.
we always say that work hard and work smart. Work hard तो समझ आते हैं ना कि बहुत मेहनत करें, दिल लगा के करें. What are the ABCs or ingredients for the work smart?
Working smart.
In your personal view. Mm-hmm.
The ABCs, I mean, the very basics of working smartly would be to, I mean, not jump off right into it. Just think about it first. I mean, just don't do it because it's right in front of you. Take a step back, think about it, think about, or I'd say, I mean, profile the whole situation. As we profile the consumer, profile the whole situation. Who is it going to be done for? And how can it best be done? What are the different ways of doing a certain thing? And then when you're thinking in those terms, when you're so clear about what you want to do, you'll definitely come across ways that are going to help you be smart around it.
Right. Achha, I've been asking this question from everybody who's here in the 2020 series also and in 21 series. Is there a book currently you're reading or previously you've read a book, and what were the takeaways from that book? It can be a digital book, it can be a regular book. The reason of asking this question is only to revive the book culture in this country. I think we're losing that. हम लोग किताब नहीं पढ़ते, हम हमारी दोस्ती किताब से खत्म हो गई है.
बिल्कुल सही है बात. मुझे याद आ गई डॉक्टर आरफा सईद ज़हरा. You would know her. उनका मुझे एक वीडियो मुझे याद. She is the legend of the country.
Oh, she's a legend.
Yes. तो उनकी एक बात याद आई कि वो 1000 रुपए वाला जो पिज्जा है वो हमें सस्ता लगता है. उसमें 4 लोग खाते हैं और सुबह तक वो किसी तहजीब में शुमार नहीं होता.
सही.
और जो 400 रुपए की किताब है वो हमें बड़ी महंगी लगती है. तो और किताब ने कितना इफेक्ट देना होता है वो हम उसको बिल्कुल भूल जाते हैं कि एक पिज्जा और एक किताब की वैसे वो मिसाल दे रही थी. तो बिल्कुल. तो Fatma, being very honest with you, when I was in my A-levels or when I was in my university, मैं बुक्स नहीं पढ़ता था ज़्यादा. अगर मैं बुक पढ़ता था तो आई थिंक वो शायद कोर्सेज की होती थी एंड दैट वाज इट. और जब मैंने LSE ज्वाइन किया तो मुझे बुक रीडिंग की तरफ मेरा फोकस आता पड़ गया. जब मैंने लम्स ज्वाइन किया तो मेरा बुक रीडिंग की तरफ फोकस एम्पलीफाई हो गया. अब उसकी रीजन ये है कि मेरा ख्याल है जो एनवायरनमेंट होता है ना वो एक बहुत ज्यादा रोल प्ले कर रहा होता है कि आप किस किस्म के लोगों के साथ बैठे हैं. एंड देन यू काइंड ऑफ पिक अप द कन्वर्सेशन कि यार इस किस्म की. एंड इफ यू वांट टू बी हर्ड यू हैव टू अप योर स्किल्स. अब अगर बुक्स की बात करें कि मैंने कौन सी बुक इस वक्त पढ़ रहा हूँ, I have read Rich Dad Poor Dad and I'd strongly suggest all the business students at least कि आप ये जरूर पढ़ें. चाहे आप BBA कर रहे हैं, BSc कर रहे हैं, MBA कर रहे हैं, जो भी कर रहे हैं आप जरूर पढ़ें. It helps you with your investment skills, with your money skills. The book that I'm reading right now is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It's written by Robin Sharma, but I talk about the one that I've read before this. It was The 5 a.m. Club, and it was also written by Robin Sharma. So the book is the gist of the book is that you improve your exactly. If you improve your mornings, you will have good days. If you will have good days, they'll turn into weeks. If you have good weeks, they'll turn into months, into years, and into a good lifetime. Now, how do you do that? You wake up early in the morning, you set a very strong routine, and the routine can be established in 66 days, according to Robin. And then when you wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, sorry?
Good breakfast also.
Good breakfast.
Because you know हमारा culture नहीं है, हम लोग भूल गए ना कि खैर.
बिल्कुल good breakfast and no news in the morning. And then divide your first hour in 3 main sections. You have one for your health, you have one for your meditation, and you have one 20-minute long session for the area that you want to grow in. It could be anything. It could be social media. It could be your telecommunication. It could be your communication skills, your whatever skills that we're talking about. This is how you're supposed to do. And there is so much to I'd strongly recommend whoever is watching this show, whoever watches it in the future, please do read 5 a.m. Club.
Absolutely. अच्छा, ये आपने बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात की कि सुबह की रूटीन पे बहुत फोकस करना चाहिए. बट हमारा तो आई थिंक हमारी तो क्लॉक है वो तो खासी उल्टी चलना शुरू हो गई है ना. हम लोग होता है कि I'm just going to be very honest, all the creative people, उनको तो वो कहते हैं कि जी रात में ज़्यादा बेहतर लिख पाते हैं और चीज़ें हैं. I think एक culture भी और we're making it, हम इसको normalized भी कर रहे हैं. So this, I'm talking about young students, उनसे बात करें जी मैम रात को हम बड़ा जल्दी काम कर सकते हैं because सारी खामोशी होती है, we can concentrate better. एक सर्वे भी है कि यंग जनरेशन ना उनकी जो बायोलॉजिकल क्लॉक है वो उल्टी चला रहे हैं हम लोग. सो उसके ऊपर भी आई थिंक कॉन्वर्सेशन नीड्स टू गो ऑन, क्योंकि 8 बजे की क्लास बच्चों को वो लेना बड़ा मुश्किल लगता है, बट बिकॉज द क्लॉक इज डिफरेंट ना. सो
it all has to do with your routine. आपको क्या मुश्किल लगता है, आपको क्या आसान लगता है, especially when you talk about taking classes in the morning. That depends कि आप सोते कब है. अच्छा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई बंदा कह रहा है कि मेरा माइंड इतना ज्यादा अच्छा काम कह रहा है कि आई एम इफ आई स्टे अप late in nights I can work better. ठीक है, I mean that's how it works for you, but we have to see how generally it works out. अल्लाह ताला ने अगर ये सिस्टम बनाया है कि
but if you go against nature, so I think then when you go against nature तो उसके कोई ना कोई नुकसानात तो होते हैं. It's impacting your health. You don't realize at that time, but in the long run it is. सारी दुनिया की साइंस कह रही है, किताबें कह रही हैं, हर साहिबे ज़हन लोग यही बात कर रहे हैं. Anyway, so अच्छा, what's your biggest wish in life?
My biggest wish, अच्छा मैंने एक चीज नोटिस की है कि my wishes have been changing. I mean,
of course wishes change with your time in the kind of circle and life you're in, तो उससे फर्क पड़ता है.
But right now I'd say कि I have a very big organization where I could employ like I mean hundreds if not thousands of people who are paid enough, who are appropriately paid, and who are working for the elevation of the country's exports, and to make sure that their own living standards they get better. So this is one of the wishes that I have at the moment that I'd like to talk about.
Right. Achha, Ammaar, you're running your own entrepreneurial business also with the content factory. What challenges you faced working with the millennials, those who are working with you? The challenges I mean, हम सारी जिंदगी सुनते
about those challenges than me.
No, but let's hear, what are you facing those challenges? Or are they facing a challenges working with you? Is there a generation gap, or is just a communication gap? I need to say that. What exactly is it? Because they do say that, it's fine. They find it difficult.
Yes, sometimes I do. But what I've really seen, what I really witnessed is that they're very good with communication. They're very quick to understand what I'm asking of them, because they know what they're supposed to do. So if I'm talking about a search engine optimized article that I need, they know how to do it. They know it better than me. So I am satisfied at that end. That's good. What tickles me is that sometimes they do not meet the deadlines, and when you are the one who is actually speaking to the client directly, you are the one who is answering to the client, and the client doesn't care about your problems. As I've said, जैसे वो प्रीति साहब कहते थे ना कि आप कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर में जाएंगे, वो आपको छुरा मारेंगे, वो आपको ऐसे आपका पिता निकालेंगे, उस पर चढ़ेंगे. So basically वो बताना ही चाहते हैं कि it's very difficult कि आपके बारे में लोग सोचें. लोग सोचते भी हैं लेकिन ज्यादा नहीं. So मुझे ये एक छोटा सा प्रॉब्लम है कि कमिटमेंट का थोड़ा सा इशू आता है.
Right. You rightly said commitment also, and then maybe I think we have this culture that we overcommit and underdeliver. So वो भी है ना कि आपने घरों में भी देखे ना, बाकी से ये भी हो जाएगा जी, ये भी हो जाएगा. You're human being, so have the realistic deadlines or realistic timeline for your work. So वो हम लोग जरा मुश्किल है.
Everybody has a social media agency on Facebook. I mean, this is what I am saying. That is all that I see. कि हर वक्त social media, जब भी मैं Facebook अपना खोल रहा हूँ, there is always a social media advertising companies advertisement. So I am just kind of wondering, is there enough business in the market कि इतनी सारी social media companies are running? So because they're offering everything, and I'm just worried कि आप कैसे कर सकते हो? You know about Facebook technologies, you know about Instagram technologies, you know how to make money on YouTube, you also know how to develop good content. Is it even possible, or do you have that big of a team? So yeah, we sometimes overcommit, underdeliver.
True. So, but I hope we we not follow that path and actually do it. Acha, Amar, just to sum up the whole conversation, what advice would you like to give to the young graduates of Lahore School of Economics, those who are watching you and those who will watch you later? Just sum it up.
Okay, number one, be very humble. Be humble with yourself. Be humble with the people around you, and respect your parents. And if you have a problem, speak to Allah Ta'ala about it. And then, whatever you're doing, try to make sure that you are doing proper homework. Whatever you want to do, make sure you're the best in the industry. And a key to be the best in the industry is to be a good learner every day. So make sure that you are keeping up an open mind, and teaching is you are not always right. So accept that. Me, any professor, whatever, whoever the person is, nobody is right all the time. So accept that and have an open heart.
Learning and unlearning, learning and unlearning, right, and relearning in a nutshell. Right.
Exactly. And then apply.
And apply, of course, right. And apply. Right. Amar, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your honest answers. And may you rise and shine more. May you keep making the difference which you're making out there. And the reason I'm doing all these alumni talks is to celebrate your stories and your journeys, because you're doing it so well for yourself, for the organization, and for the country. Rise and shine more.
Thank you very much for having me. And as I was saying, it's a remarkable step that Lahore School of Economics has taken, and you have been helping them. I'm so happy. I'm so delighted to see whenever your show comes up live. I know that productive work is being done. LSE's alumni are being marketed. LSE's alumni stories are being shared, and that is what we really needed to work on. And you are doing it. So thank you. Thanks to you. Thanks to Lahore School of Economics for whatever they have done for us.
Thank you so much. And of course, we are the products of Lahore School of Economics. We are because of that university, and we all need to pitch in our own part. And thank you for sharing your story with us. And thank you to all those who tune in. Amar, may you rise and shine more. God bless you.
Thank you. Take care.